What can I do for you, Jim? I was surprised you called. Yeah, well, I suppose to be clear, I surprised myself too. Woke up this morning feeling, well, my daughter is crazy about Clint. Forced me to get clear about our baggage and the differences that we've had. So this is not easy. Sophie's a sweet girl. Marie thinks the world of her. I've been a mess and I pulled everyone into it, Ken. For that I'm sorry. It's taken a long time to get clear. I'm not your therapist. Hear me out, Ken. What, your excuses? I haven't made excuses. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, you blindsided me, tried to steal my company, my legacy, take it away from me. That's not true. You got caught up in a battle between forces that were bigger than you or I. I didn't want your company. I just wanted it out. My father died and, I just wanted to see if I had to do it all over again. Well, I'd step back, I'd do things a lot differently. And I would have been thorough and communicated every step that I was going to take. And what actually happened totally isolated me. And I'm fortunate to have survived. I didn't really. I died more than once. I had no idea. Like a wild man, reckless, a jerk. I can't believe so many people followed you. Well, it was never really about you or your company, Ken. People were just looking for something to believe in, something inspiring, and they got caught up in my recovery for all the multiple crises that I was dealing with in my life. Marie mentioned that. But I was skeptical. Yeah, I ran into her at the square. She's quite intuitive. I know it's hard to get anything by her. I've learned that over the years. Well, back to the reason I'm here. Ken, this is going to take some time, like I said. But the kids are hitting it off. And I can't duck out or skate around our past troubles anymore. We've got to deal with it. And I don't expect you to understand right away. But I could. What do you want? Maybe we could go grab lunch later this week. I've been through a lot. And it's finally come clear. The prescriptions, the misdiagnosis, the lawyers, the losses, seeing everything slip away, and to finally get some clarity. I had no idea. Nobody did. But now that something more important like Sophie and Clint have come along, it really did help me get clear. So why should I trust you now? Well, that's a good question. And I can't rationalize or explain everything. Sometimes I don't even know if I can trust myself, to be honest, Ken. With Clint and Sophie in the picture, I get your drift. You got me curious. At minimum, I was hoping that you might say that might happen. Have you ever lost a friend? Have you ever lost a loved one? The answer to that for most of it is yes. Have you ever gone back and tried to reconcile with those? Tried to make up? Tried to learn more about what happened? Have you reflected on what went wrong in your relationships? If you look at Ken and Jim in this scenario that I just tried to act out, you saw someone being drawn into a situation because of something out of their control. Jim had this concern for his daughter, and the guy that she had started a relationship with and was trying to honor something important to her. It was bigger than him, bigger than Jim. And the backstory here between Jim and Ken is that they used to be business partners and they had a falling out. And Jim had PTSD and had dealt with a number of issues and had really been kind of crippled in his relationships in life. And I guess there's a chance right now that going forward, dealing with Ken, who was a more, I guess you could say he'd been given a more privileged and maybe an easier, go in life than Jim had encountered. And if they can connect and really make up and forgive each other and maybe understand each other better, maybe they can go on. And if the relationship between Clint, who is Ken's son, and Sophie, who's Jim's son or daughter, if they happen to work out, then maybe Jim and Ken can get back along with each other at a personal level. And I hope that this story or this conflict, this attempt at a resolution, may give you some insight as to how to begin the process of making amends. So much is spoken about in terms of forgiving and, in the Bible, for example, and then on making amends, if you happen to be familiar with like these 12-step processes. But the actual instructions about how to do that, how it feels inside, and the courage that it takes, not just to say the words, but to actually feel the connection with the other person and deal with the guilt and some of the shame that might be involved in that process, and the letting go and the powerlessness and the dealing with an ego that we're all drawn to work from ego, especially here in the United States, as we reward people for winning and for aspiring and getting educations and making achievements and having trophies and having the nice car and the nice home. And in this scenario, Jim had lost it all and had been humiliated and had really, really struggled to find his way back to find out and discover what was really important to him. And I think hopefully if you followed that portrayal and dramatic sequence along, that's not an easy thing to do, to go approach an old friend, maybe an old partner, maybe an ex romantic partner or business partner, or someone that you just remembered that you might have done something wrong to go back to them and just say, hey, I'm feeling bad about this. I want to try to reconnect with you because you're important. That could make the difference to the person that you're talking to or deliver that message to. It could also make the difference to yourself, as to how you feel about yourself. And it might even be a gift to your children and loved ones as you release some of that guilt and shame that you're carrying around with you. So that's all I've got to say for today, but I hope this might have been beneficial to you. And I'd love to see your comments and stories. And, if you like and subscribe to this channel, that'd be great if you shared it with someone that was in your circle, your sphere of influence. And that would help things grow and reach others, because I think we all need to learn a lot more about understanding each other and dealing with the big divides that have come up between us. And hopefully this will help, and with your sharing and support And your efforts at really making forgiveness and amends for the things in your life that you might have some regrets over, that would be really warm for me to hear about having an impact on that. So all the best.